Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly special of Shiz and Giggles. This is Jasmine here, and I have my lovely co host with me today. So I'll go around and introduce everyone. I know we have some new faces that everyone hasn't seen before, so let's go ahead and get started. First, of course, you know me, I am Jasmine, associate producer here at All About Presentation. To my left, this way. I have a new face for everyone. We have with Sam. Hi, say hi, everyone. Well, say not say hi to everyone, but say hi to everyone.
Hi, everybody.
After that, we have Casey. Hi, Casey.
Oh, wait. Hey, how's everybody doing?
Glad you could join us today, Casey.
Thank you.
Next, underneath Casey, we have Sarah. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, girl. And then next to her, the notorious Andrea Lyons. Hello, Miss Lyons. How are you doing today?
Hola, 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 eh. Hola, hola, eh.
Crack on, Andrea. Crack
We
on.
love it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
And then last but certainly not least, we have a new face to everyone. Hello, Christine. All right. So as you see, we have some new faces. And please, 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 in the comments, say hello to our new people. We are so excited to have them and so excited for them to be working with you all, of course, in the near future. So we're going to go ahead and get started. But before we do, I have a question for everyone. And I'm going to, before I pose it to everyone here, I'm going to pose it to one specific person. Andrea, I have a question for you. Have you ever seen an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
No. Yeah, okay. Yes. Kind of.
You have. Okay, so you're familiar with them.
Familiar
Okay.
with her. Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Now, have you heard what's been going on with the show in the news?
Yes, at the end of an era. It's like the last of the dynasty, which I'm like, I definitely am confused about for so many reasons. Why? It's almost like the flipping house people too. Remember those people in Magnolia Green, or am I the only one? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No,
Like,
you did. A little bit.
why would you end the thing that is your cash cow? Right? Like, would Kylie?
Well, is it? Like, that's not their only stream of revenue.
Okay, but because all right. So say okay.
I don't know if this is true or not, because the media is always spitting stuff out. But I heard that Chris decided to end the show because Kylie and Kim, the brats, they threatened to quit the show. So she was like, well, that can't happen. So she just
Wait, I've heard something completely different.
The internet's always talking. What did you hear, sis?
So what I heard is that, so I don't know, I actually do watch the show. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I've been watching
She picks up the
But basically, the last season, the most recent season, there was like this huge blowout between Courtney and the rest of the siblings, mainly Kim.
Yeah.
But basically, Courtney was like, I don't want to do the show anymore because I kind of want, like, maybe not necessarily privacy back, but that's kind of what she was gearing towards. You know what I mean? And I heard it had to do with that kind of debacle about it was like Kim, Kylie, and Chloe were having to pull more weight when it came to like viewership. They basically were the ones who had to be on camera more often, share more about their lives. And then Courtney, because she kept wanting to step back, they were like getting mad at her. And that's also what happens on the newest season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Wait, but like Courtney's always been like, I hate everything and everyone, and I hate this show. Like, what is so different about now? Like, she's always been complaining.
It seems like there's a lot. I know there's a lot of. She wants to stay with her family, which is totally understandable. But I know Casey, if I'm not mistaken, you have some stats for us that you want to share, because I think this kind of plays into the conversation as well.
Yes, I do. I totally do. Because something I wanted to talk about, because Andrea even mentioned, like, why would you get rid of your cash cow? However, they have many cows in their pasture. So I'm going to note only four of the Kardashian Jenner family members as of right now, because it would take so long if I went to all of them. However, let's start with Kim. Kim has a net worth of $900 million. So
how did she get? Okay, well, wait. Well,
that's a great question.
That's a good.
All right. Maybe the question is, how did she get a show? I'm just saying, I'm old enough to remember. Was it Reggie Bush? Wasn't that
Yes.
Okay? So
I forgot about him. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But so they have many cows in their field. For example, Kim, she has her new it's like a Spanx line called Skims, and then she also has KKW Beauty, and she also is like a co-founder of Shoe Dazzle, which is a really popular shoe company.
And she's an attorney. We get it.
Yeah, okay. This woman has businesses lined up, like just flowing in money, and
because she had a show.
Exactly. Several types of shows. If you don't want to.
OnlyFans shout out.
Oh my god.
Dang. Moving on, the next Kardashian I want to talk about is Khloe, because Khloe right now has a really successful clothing line called Good American, and also does swim apparel, jeans. That's usually kind of what they're targeted towards. And her net worth is $40 million, which isn't as much as Kim's, but it's still pretty large considering she's been a huge player on the show. Obviously, it's a show about her family, but she's really been in that. And then also we have Kylie, who is notorious for being on all the Forbes magazines. Her net worth is also $900 million. So her and Kim are pretty neck and neck. But Kylie also does Kylie Cosmetics, Kylie Skin. And I don't know if y'all remember this, but like in 2016, I think, when Kylie launched the brand, like her lip kits were sold out for months. Like it was hard to get one. And I finally got one, but that's nonetheless. And then the last Kardashian or Jenner that I want to remember or to talk about is Kendall Jenner, because she's a supermodel. So she also has these like big deals, and she probably has a contract with one of the bigger modeling agencies in the world. And this is her net worth. Her net worth is $48 million.
I've always preferred Kendall over Kylie. I don't know why she's not more. She's actually doing something. Like she's literally has a real job. I mean, sorry, I'm speaking too soon. Kendall deserves more.
I guess I get it. Okay, not that I've changed my mind, but I do get that, you do have to give up something to get something else. And at a certain point, it's no longer, since they've launched all these things, I mean, they just don't need the show anymore but didn't they launch their products using their show though? Like
they use it as a platform. Yeah, the show as a platform to help out there.
So, and I mean, maybe there's things they just want to do, and you cannot do everything all at one time. So I mean, to that, I understand where it's like, it may be profitable, but is it as profitable for what you want to do in the future? So in that case, I will say I relent. Okay, that makes complete sense. That makes sense.
Now I want to pose another question. Okay, we're gonna stick on the same topic, but let's challenge our minds a little bit. Now, what is everyone's thoughts on mixing business and family? So I'm going to say, everyone think about it. What is your thoughts on mixing business and family? Because that's essentially what has been happening with the Kardashians. I know they've had a lot of outbreaks during a lot of different episodes about how either they love it at one point in time, they love it, and then another point in time they're like, ooh, I don't ever want to mix business and family together. So I want to ask, I'm actually going to pass over to Christine. What are your thoughts about mixing business and family? I wish I could hear all the great stuff you're saying.
Maybe you're on mute.
She might have to take out her headphones.
I don't know.
It's okay.
Christine,
we'll come back to you.
I will say this. I know that there are no Lionses that work at All About Presentation. And I don't think that that's a coincidence. So that's my take on it.
I'm sure Mama
Also-
Lion's loving.
Oh, she'd be the worst one. My mom, you all would love it. Oh, in terms of productivity, though, oh my God, my mom, you all would love it. You would love having her in the office. She'd have treats and snacks, and oh, you'd love it. She cracks jokes, and they're funny, but in terms of overall productivity, it would probably drop. So just as a note, no Lions' work for All About Presentation, except for me.
No, I know there are a lot of, especially in Richmond, downtown here, there's a lot of family businesses.
There are.
Yeah. That is a big thing. And I love our family businesses, especially when it's I love, especially now that people are supporting them more than ever.
Waller Jewelers.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Wallers. They're great. I go there for all of my Nelia, go. I love my sorority, just a little plug-in.
Delta Sigma Theta, that one?
Oh, no, I basic, if I'm not mistaken. Royal Blue and White. That's another subject. Different time. But I will say, and this is something I want to ask in the comment box for all of our attendees watching. What is, especially for someone that works for a small business, I would love to know, what are the pros of working for a small business? I know, of course, staying within the family. You always have someone that you can rely on, someone for guidance, especially if it's a business that's been passed down. So I'd love to know what are some of the pros of working for a family business. Then also, what are some of the struggles that you do struggle with, not just within the family, but some things that are to take into consideration when you're working for your family business, if that's something that you did have to decide. I know there's a lot of businesses where there's a person that just got pulled into the family business because of things that have happened. So what are some deciding factors that you made or that you had to think about to actually go into the family business? So that is a question I want to pose out there. I know none of us are in the family business because we all work at AP, which we love and we think is great. But I do want to pose another question to you all before we close out. Has anyone heard this phrase? It's not personal, it's business. And I want to know your thoughts on that. I know that one. But Sam, I want to know, what are your thoughts on that quote? It's not personal, it's business, and in relation to family businesses, working with people that you're very close to, whether it's your family or friends. So I'm going to pass it to you.
Yeah, I think so. My family actually owns a business, and I try to not get too into it just because I want to keep that separate. I want to keep that personal and business separate because, work is stressful and there are going to be times where you're going to have differences. And I don't want to have to bring that home with me. Mm-hmm. And, you're living with your family or you're contacting your family and there's that sort of stressor. Mm-hmm. I just would rather keep it separate. I know I don't get too involved in my family's business. I'll help out if they ever need me, but I don't want to be in there because I'm going to have a difference of opinion. My leadership is different than theirs. So I don't want to start overstepping, especially when it's your mom and your dad, where's that line that gets drawn? Where is that? It's not personal, it's business line. Where is that? It gets blurred.
I love your answer, and I would definitely agree. I know that's something that I have working with friends can definitely be hard because that's a line that people love to throw out there. It's not personal, it's business. That's a line that I do say a lot as well. But some people are like, but I'm your friend. And it's like, So it's always hard. I feel like that's something that it's never an easy thing to do, working with someone that's close to you. Like I said, it has their pros and it has their cons. So we'll love to hear that. But I know we're getting close to time. So before we end, I do acknowledge that today is 9/11. So I do want to throw that out there and that we all remember this day. I know we were all different ages when this happened. So I do want to go around a circle, and this is something very short, very sweet. Where were you during this time? What are your thoughts? Of course, I'll start. For those who don't know, I lived overseas for 6 years. I lived in Japan. So
I was going to say, where at, Jasmine?
I lived in Japan for 6 years. So when 9/11 happened, I wasn't in the States. So I didn't learn about 9/11 until I came here, but it wasn't even when I came here initially. It took a couple of years for me to know, oh, this was a thing that happened. This impacted a lot of people. So I'm not ashamed to say this is something I'm still learning about every single year, how it impacted America. Of course, I love the United States, but this is something that, of course, every single year I do take. I do try to learn as much as I can on how this did impact a lot. So that is just my little spiel. We'll go to Sarah.
Yeah, similar to you, Jasmine. I was actually not in the States. I don't remember where I was during 9/11, but I do remember what my mom was telling me. And so my mom worked for an airline company overseas. I think she worked for like Ethiopian Airlines in Africa. And she says that the day that it happened, you could literally feel the world stop. And we all know that 9/11 is literally the day that the world changed, where a lot of these regulations, life is different. I didn't know life before 9/11, but I do know life after 9/11. So I remember my mom just saying that like it literally felt like the world just stopped and it was just complete chaos. The airline companies just all shut down. It was like, do you remember that one episode of SpongeBob where they were in his brain and like they had to like get rid of all the documents?
Yes.
That's kind of like how my mom, when she was telling me, that's how I would remember it. But yeah, so I wasn't here, but I do understand and I know the effects that, the after effects of it all.
Mm-hmm. To you, Casey, what are your thoughts about it? Where were you? Do you remember anything about this day?
So I was 2 years old, so I was quite young, but I don't really have that many memories. The one thing I do remember is I just moved to Virginia. I was originally born in Arizona, so yeah, so my parents, they drove from Arizona to Virginia. It took them a week when I was like 2 years old. And I remember we were like crashing in a bunch of different like kind of hotels until we could find a house. And I remember just like my mom being really panicky and me and my brother like jumping on the beds, like, because we had no clue what was going on. And the reason my mom was so panicky is because my dad works for the government. So and at this time, it wasn't like how we have smartphones today and we can like check our friends' locations or do like those Facebook alerts or anything like that. So like my mom like had no contact with my dad for like I think like 4 hours, and so he was really stressed out. And like I just remember me and my brother being like, we have no clue what's happening, so we aren't focusing on it. But yeah, as I've gotten older, obviously like more stuff has been told, but that's kind of just the feeling I remember, just absolute like terror.
It's really scary.
Yeah, Andrea, I know you probably, you definitely were, probably have more knowledge of this day than any of us here on this podcast. So what do you remember?
So yeah, I definitely remember it all. I was actually Casey's age when it happened. And so I was in college. So in a very similar way, what I find interesting is what you are going through with your courses and classes and that feeling of not knowing what's next. I'm very much accustomed to that because we had that same feeling. I remember waking up and I was going to go to class, and then on television, it was the imagery. And I actually woke up early enough to see that there was, they were still talking about how maybe even a small plane had hit the World Trade Center. And then while they were showing it, I remember another plane hitting the World Trade Center, the other tower. And so I remember watching, and they were just on fire. And my thought at the time was, man, you can't take an elevator down. This is really, really scary. And I remember there was like Cantor Fitzgerald was a company that I was interested in working at the time. And they also had programs like at Pace, I think that was it, University, which was as part of the tower as well. And so I had some affiliation and connection to it, but not super close. But my big thing was just thinking about the people and how in the world could all those people get down all those stairs in the amount of time that they need to. And I remember thinking like how many flights that is, and people, are they going to go in an orderly fashion? And then I saw the most dreadful thing of somebody jumping out of a window, and there were more than one person doing it. And so it was catastrophic. And so I think my sensibilities changed at that point too, which, I mean, if you're living through the pandemic and you're a student now and you're going through this, you will forever be changed by this moment in time. And 20 years from now, when you are with 20-year-olds who say, hey, what was it like? You know, you'll have your moments that you reflect on and you go, man, it was as bad as it really could be. So when I look back on it, I think of the resilience of all of the people that have gone on to continue to live their lives without their loved ones. I think of the first responders, people who literally ran into a burning building. I mean, I admire that level of heroism. And so I think about them frequently. I think about, the folks that were, they didn't get to meet their children.
Yeah.
So I think about that a lot, especially around this time, of course. And I think about those children, and then those children may have children, right? So even if they were 7 or 8 at the time, those children by now may have children of their own. And it's just, it breaks my heart still. And if I sat here long enough to think about it, I'm sure I would just weep about it. But it really was just, it was as bad as everything you've heard or have learned. It was that bad.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing. You with Sam, what do you remember? What have you heard about if you were young?
Yeah, I was 1 when it happened, but I was also similar to you and Sarah. I wasn't in the States, but, when I moved over to the States and I started hearing about it and reading about it and learning about it, it shocked me, and it's such a devastating moment. And, Andrea put it so wonderfully about, the heroism and how people were running into buildings to save others. And I'm similar to you. I try to educate myself about how it's impacted this United States and the world as a whole too. And, taking a few moments out of this day, especially to really think of those who were lost and also the impacts that have happened because of it.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. Now you, Christine, I hope we can hear you. Oh, we can't hear you.
I think she used to unplug her headphones.
Try unplugging your headphones and then just talking. Oh, never mind. Well, I'm sure you probably were very young at this time as well. But oh, you were 2. Wow. So yeah, very young as well. Were you in the States? You were in the States. So you did hear probably people talking about it, but it's something you don't remember. I understand. Well, I just want to, before we get off, I want to say thank you all for joining us. One, thank you to my lovely co-hosts. And thank you everyone who's watching in. We do Shiz and Giggles every week, Fridays. So see us back next week as we have another episode and another trending topic we'll discuss. And I hope to see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.